the latest on the mystery surrounding Prince's death. The U.S. Attorney's Office and DEA are now joining the investigation as we learn more about a California doctor who says he was called to help the superstar with an addiction problem. ABC's Eva Pilgrim has the story.
Being run by musicians, so it's being run by accountants and lawyers. So I don't know if they'd know real music if they heard it. What they're looking for is acts that are going to make the most money for them.
What Prince said on his last phone call before he died: he was still smiling, still cracking jokes, still dodging the hard questions like only Prince could. 4 days before the world lost the man who gave us Purple Rain, When Doves Cry, and 100 other anthems of heartbreak and rebellion, he picked up the phone one last time to talk to his sister, Tyka Nelson. But this call wasn't what you might imagine between two siblings who hadn't seen each other in a while. There were no long confessions, no tearful goodbyes, no final plans.
I don't know if I should tell you this, but I don't know who may be listening. There may be a group of people that want to get rid of me. They don't want me here anymore.
I don't understand. What do you mean?
There was just Prince dancing around every question Tyka asked him, shifting topics with Quicksilver charm and laughing the way he always had when he didn't want to answer. I kept getting mad, Tyka said, remembering that final conversation. I felt like, talk to me for 2 seconds. He'd change the subject, make a joke, and then we'd both laugh. Even in what would become his final days, Prince was determined to stay the enigma he'd spent a lifetime building.
Good day. We are coming on the air with breaking news about the death of an American music icon. Prince, the innovative, one-of-a-kind artist who's given us so much great music over the decades, has been found dead at his Paisley Park compound in suburban Minneapolis.
No vulnerability, no admittance of pain, just that sly grin over the phone, masking everything he wasn't ready to say out loud. There was something odd about that call, a flicker of something Tyka couldn't quite put her finger on. When Prince asked her to track down the phone number for their sister Sharon, she didn't question it, but she knew it was strange. This wasn't a casual request, it was sharp, urgent. He wanted me to find Sharon's number. Tyka recalled. He said, "Send this picture to that person." I didn't ask why, I just did it. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. Maybe he was preparing for something. Maybe he knew the weight of time was starting to press against him. Maybe he was setting things in motion, quietly, without fuss, the way he had handled everything else in his life. Or maybe he was just trying to stay connected in the way only Prince could, fragmented, indirect, wrapped up in coded gestures. Either way, Tyka listened. She sent the pictures, she tracked down the numbers. She had no idea it would be the last thing he ever asked her to do. Their last face-to-face meeting wasn't filled with heavy conversations either. It happened just days before his death, after Prince's private jet made an emergency landing in Moline, Illinois on April 15th, 2016. Prince had collapsed mid-flight, barely conscious. Rumors of an overdose immediately swirled, but his team stayed tight-lipped. Officially, he had the flu.
Welcome back. New this morning, music superstar Prince may have been dead for at least 6 hours before his body was found. The Minnesota Star-Tribune reported the news based on a statement from a paramedic who responded to a 911 call at the singer's estate. The Tribune also quotes investigative sources who say Prince was given fluids through an IV at the hospital a day before he died.
Unofficially, something darker was brewing. When Tyka saw him in the hospital, her instincts kicked in, protective, fierce. There was a lady who wanted to hug him, she remembered, and the protector in me stood up. The lady was taller than me. The bodyguards came over and got her. Prince looked at me like, "What you gonna do?" They smiled at each other. A silent moment between two siblings who had survived so much together. Abuse, poverty, fame, isolation. They didn't need words. Their bond was woven through decades of living in Prince's Technicolor lonely orbit. Still, Tyka could see it. He wasn't himself. He was thinner, weaker, different. A couple of times I said, "How are you really?" She said, "He didn't go into anything with me. That was bothering me, and he knew it was, but that was all he wanted to tell me." Prince, even on the edge of the end, refused to drop the veil. When the news finally broke on April 21st, 2016, that Prince had been found unresponsive in an elevator at Paisley Park, it felt like a glitch in the universe. The world stopped spinning just for a second. The radios went silent. The purple lights dimmed. Tyka, the only person who had heard his real voice just days before, was left with a whirlwind of memories and 1,000 unanswered questions. The official cause of death, revealed weeks later, was fentanyl toxicity, an accidental overdose, self-administered. It was almost impossible to believe. Prince, who had spent a lifetime preaching clean living, who had demanded water while everyone else guzzled vodka, who had refused drugs even when surrounded by them, had fallen to the same plague that had taken so many others. But behind the myth, there had always been a man battling chronic pain, a man quietly enduring the physical toll that decades of jumping, spinning, and high-heeled dancing had inflicted on his body, a man who had turned, in desperation, to the only thing that could numb the ache and paid the ultimate price. Even after his death, stories began to leak out. A 2011 call from a woman concerned about Prince's alleged cocaine use, an emergency hospitalization in 2013 for dehydration, rumors of hip surgeries and secret pain management regimens. It painted a picture not of a rock god descending in a blaze of glory, but of a fragile, wounded human being, one who had been hiding his battles behind sunglasses, velvet suits, and electrifying guitar solos. And maybe that's why he kept avoiding Tika's questions during that last call. Maybe he knew he couldn't lie to her face. Maybe laughter was his last defense. Tyka, for her part, carries no bitterness, no anger, just grief and gratitude. She honored her brother at the 2016 American Music Awards, accepting his posthumous award for Purple Rain with tears in her eyes and pride in her voice. Prince defied the odds, she said. A black teen from Minneapolis with a goal to electrify the world, he had the courage to be different. With his vision and God-given talent, he is still one of the world's most respected and loved artists.
Still one of the world's most respected and loved artists. But what he told me was that he wanted to be known as the world's most prolific songwriter.
And now, as she prepares for her final public performance on June 7th, what would have been Prince's 66th birthday, Tyka is closing the chapter not just on her own career, but on the public role she never asked for, keeper of Prince's memory. She says she's working on a memoir, but when asked too many questions about the details, she smiles mischievously and says, "You're gonna spoil the book. Don't you want me to make money?" Sounds familiar. Maybe that sly grin runs in the family after all. What do you think? Was Prince protecting his loved ones by keeping his pain private? Or did his refusal to open up leave those closest to him carrying an even heavier burden? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your voice. And if this story touched you, subscribe to our channel. There are more untold stories, final words, and bittersweet memories from music legends coming your way. Because sometimes the greatest icons don't say goodbye with a grand performance. Sometimes they slip away, leaving only a laugh, a memory, and 1,000 unspoken words behind.